was my first trip in the clubhouse. I walk in, immediately felt something land on my shoulder. It was a jock strap, and a St. Louis Cardinals player came up to my face and said, "Are you here to interview somebody or to look at a bunch of," and said a not very nice word. And I was just humiliated. I just didn't expect that. And I turned around. I said, "No, I'm here to interview Terry Pendleton." I didn't see him. So I turned around, walked out of the clubhouse, and almost ended my career there. You know, it just was like, it was humiliating.
Well, you always get those things where it's like, name 5 people on this, blah, blah, blah. Name like the little obscure little things like that. Or like just things like, it's funny when someone's like, I've had one time someone, I was like, yeah, I played wide, like I put WR in high school for football, right? And they're like, what's WR? Like a dude. And I was like, are you serious?
Teams especially and staff have grown to become more accepting of women in sports, which I really appreciate. I've never really ever had issues with players or coaching staff ever like questioning my ability and allowing me to be in the presence, but rather knowing that you're going to be outnumbered all the time and knowing that you're going to be in the minority, I think can be scary, because when you're walking across the face of the dugout and you know you're in this area where there's all men and there's no women, it's just, you kind of feel a little bit alone.
Just, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, and you have to have really thick skin, because things are going to get said. It's just a different standard too, because you're getting judged in a different way, not just for your broadcast performance and what you're saying on the broadcast, but you're even getting judged in ways like because of what you're wearing and how you look.
I used to walk into those clubhouses looking down at my feet. I was always concerned about being, you know, questioned because of what happened with the Cardinals. I was walking through the clubhouse and I heard this psst, Paola, Paola. And it was Oral Hershiser, this great pitcher, and he said, "Come on over here." And I'm like, oh boy. I go over there and he says, "Hey, I just want you to know that you belong in this clubhouse. You deserve to be here as much as anybody else. I want you to come here the next time with your shoulders back, look straight forward, and act like you belong, because you do."
Just want it to be normalized one day, where it's like when we have female refs and stuff, like make that normal. Like it just should be like, we shouldn't have to think twice about that being like, oh, that's so cool that we finally have a woman in this, you know.
I just wanted to empower girls and feel like they could do the same thing as well. And I think oftentimes just having another person there, you know, even if you don't know them, just as a support system really helps make you feel like you're not alone. And so I think that that's been one of my priorities in something that I've tried to accomplish in my career, is making sure that I'm not only doing what I need to do to be successful, but trying as much as I can to help others be successful around me. So, you know, whether that be just sharing their work or you know, talking to them and giving them tips, like I really just think it's so important to cultivate relationships with everybody that you meet, and I make it a priority to empower women in sports especially.
Again, it's an industry I love, and I'm glad it's changing in the right direction. And as much support out there as there is of women supporting women, I also have a ton of support. The male colleagues I know and the male colleagues I work with who are super supportive of women in our industry too.
The thing that held me back was my lack of confidence. And part of it maybe was being a female in this business at that time. But to just believe in yourself, that you do belong there, and that you have every right to cover the stories you're writing.